Hello, welcome to the House of the Spirit. Welcome home. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Aries, the month of June 2024. While I'm shuffling the cards, I would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also like and share the video if it resonates with you. A lot of cards. Let's see. Okay. Very decisive, very clean. The shuffling and choosing. Okay. Great. So let's start. The Aries with crisis. Interesting card. A lot of movement. The Ace of Cups, Six of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and Judgment. Wow, powerful. Okay, Four of Swords, Ace of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, the Hangman, the Hanging Man in this particular deck, the Six of Cups, and the Seven of Cups. Interesting. So we have the Six of Cups and the Seven of Cups, and then we have the Six of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. This is really interesting. And it's also, to me, it's a suggestion that this is something that is happening in June and in July with the 6 and the 7. Tradition with resurrection, truth, sincerity, and clear path. Impediments, rules, willpower. Interesting. Refusal, discipline, and responsibility. And darkness, skipping steps, ego, illness, evil, delirium, and danger. Okay. Okay, so this month I am diving a little bit deeper into the mythology of these two decks. Here we have the Western mythology, the Greek tradition, and then in this deck we have the Indian tradition, so the Eastern tradition. So let me just meditate for a little bit on your cards and study the myths in each one of these cards, and then we'll start with the reading. Okay, so very interesting reading, and for me it's also quite funny that it might be a little bit specific, so if it doesn't resonate with most of you, I totally understand, but I really have to follow my intuition here. So starting with the Aries, they come from the pre-Hellenic Greek tradition, and they are representing a matriarchal force, and they are related to revenge. They are like protectors of mothers. I do think that because we have this pattern that is repeating itself, it's the three women, three female energies. I do feel that maybe this is something that is also occurring in real life. So maybe right now you are a part of a dynamic that is comprised of three women. You might be one of them, or you might be observing, but I feel like you are one of them, because we have the Ace of Cups, and for me, this is a sign that you are very much involved in this. You are very much invested in this, even emotionally. It can be family. I do think it's about family or a group dynamic that has something to do with managing wealth. And so, starting with the Ace of Cups, here we have the a beautiful goddess, and she is like the initiator. It's the mother figure, and it's also the birth myth here. This is Aphrodite, but it's so much more than that. It's also like the Aries here. It's talking to me about maybe even a myth time, like a primordial time. So it might be indicating, and also because of the judgment, that this is something that has been going on in your matrilineal heritage. It has been going on in your female lineage, and it might have to do with some inheritance, because the judgment, in the judgment card we have Hermes, the psychopomp, so the guide of the souls into the other world, and he's also awakening the souls and guiding them into a resurrection. And it's like renewing vows, renewing life, but also reaping the rewards. And this is also very important because we have the Six of Pentacles here. And the Six of Pentacles portrays Daedalus receiving an offering, a patronage from King Minos. And this is receiving generosity, receiving the charity of others, receiving blessing, right? Being the recipient, being the one who is regaining something. The faith in life, faith in your own abilities is also regained because of this. So it's something that happens both on the soul level, but also in a material fashion. And to further describe this dynamic, these three women, we can look at the card of the Wheel of Fortune. And the card describes three women, which are the three Moirai. And we have Clotho, the spinner, here. We have Lachesis, the measurer, here. And Atropos. And she's the cutter. She's the one that breaks the cycle, right? She's the one that frees the soul. So I would also use this analogy to maybe characterize the people in this dynamic. So one person might be very much more involved in the situation and not having a lot of perspective. Then you have another person that might have the need to follow rules, to know exactly how to do things, maybe even in a legal approach to things, the bureaucratic, the written paper, the tiny letters, that you have to read, the fine print. And it's someone who is more interested in the details and who is maybe not so involved emotionally here. And then you have another person that might want to just break free, might want to, is more detached, that is more able to break this cycle. And I would say that maybe what is happening for you this month or starting this month and bleeding a little bit into July, I'm sorry. It might be that you are the one that's more involved emotionally, maybe more invested emotionally. And I feel like you will see like the light at the end of the tunnel once you understand how much you are going to get from this situation. And then you will be able to kind of integrate all these three psychological principalities, which are represented maybe in people and who are kind of triggering in yourself all these self-development how do I say challenges. Yeah. So all the parts that these three women are sparking, are triggering in each other and in the situation, in the relationship dynamic, and then in yourself, they are going to be resolved. And I don't think it's going to take long, but it will feel like there's a lot of resistance. And I don't think it's something unexpected, really. But I think that you will be kind of, you must see. There's something you must see. There's something you must do before things move on more smoothly. And maybe this is the time where we're going to get into the details. Yeah, so following this logic, maybe you are now going from the person who is more involved and interested in the emotional aspects of the situation. You are moving on to become the one who is more rational, who is able to be rational. And that is also transpiring in this second part of the reading, which I'm going to address right now. Okay, so we have a lot to unpack here. Let's start with the Four of Arrows and the Ace of Arrows, because I think this is a kind of a timeline of events that is unfolding. And with the Four of Arrows and the Ace of Arrows, here in the Ace of Arrows, we have Bhishma blocking Ganga, and Ganga is his mother. So this is also talking about sort of a maturing and coming of age story, like a place in time where, or a situation where you can kind of prove yourself, that you can face higher forces, that you can step up and to even be ready to change yourself to achieve what you want, right? There's kind of a wake-up call here for you to step into a more mature stage of your life. And here we have the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is Bhishma's dilemma. And he is now faced with the dilemma, that is facing his father or doing the right thing. Facing his father and doing the right thing, or doing the correct thing socially, which is to follow his father's footsteps or to submit to his father's will, which is also seen as correct, but compromising his own values and his own beliefs that he would be a good king, that he would do a good job, and that maybe he would correct some wrongs, right some wrongs, right? So here is a place in time where there's an evaluation that is going on of yourself, of your situation, but also of the authority figures in your life. And maybe one of these women is actually the authority figure that you have to face, or that you have to decide what to do. There's judgment here. You have free will. Um, there is also outside justice at play. There's a lot of things to consider. There's a very important discernment that has to happen in order for you to move forward, um, and also evolve spiritually, and also be there. There are blessings that come in our life with um, it's like blessings in disguise. We may think that we are losing, but actually we're not. And this is also the rest of the reading for me. This is also the great theme of the rest of the reading, is that you might feel like you are losing something, and actually you are not. And I am going to start with the two final cards, actually, because we have Parvati exercising her tapas. Tapas is a discipline, is a sort of methodical action, a ritualistic action that you put yourself into, and that creates pressure on your being, on your psyche, on your spiritual path. And because there's pressure, there's that pressure, there's that discipline, you are forming yourself into a divine creature that has the right to enter heaven. But before we go there, Six of Cups. Parvati decides to win Shiva's love by using her own skills. She has to prove something. She has to work on herself, because her beauty wasn't enough to fascinate him, to move him out of his meditative state. So Seven of Lotuses, Seven of Cups, is the actual work. Is Parvati is watering the trees, and she is performing such unprecedented tapasya that she is creating this connection to source for her. And it's almost like she doesn't even need to eat. It's a sadhana, right? And it's like, it's a way of engaging with reality that explodes your perception, that kind of, it makes you see different things. And it's also, this card is very interesting because it has this aura around her with a lot of colors and shapes, and it's like nature itself is becoming kind of magical. And this is something that it comes from very hard discipline, or like fasting, or like specific changes you can do in your routines, or special rituals that you can do that change our perception and that open our mind to different solutions. And this is very, very this is like the core like advice of this reading here, is this need to get a different perspective on life. And I feel like there might be a reluctance to do that in the beginning, and that's why maybe you have this darkness here, like with ego and skipping steps, because maybe you will feel like this is kind of, it's it's drudgery, it's not easy, right, to face our own resistance to discipline. And impediments also has a discipline responsibility. but it's also the refusal, right? It's also the having the willpower. It's also willpower, having the willpower to face, yeah, to face your own blocks, you know, and your triggers. And but what's funny is that if you face it, it will be very, very easy for you. And this brings us to the Seven of Discs, or the Seven of Pentacles. And this card is called The Wheel Turns, which is quite interesting because the wheel turns when you release something. It might be an idea, but it also might be compromising on a material level. And I say this because we have the Pentacles here and the Pentacles here. I feel like you will be able to compromise on a material level if you're more rational, if you have like a more mature approach to a more logical approach to this situation, whatever it is. And also, if you discipline your emotions, if you discipline your energetic body in a way that just channels your energy to what is really, really important for you. And you might also be discovering actually what is the most important thing, because this whole situation might challenge that, your values in a sense, like even if your material approach to life, like what is really important here, right? What is more important to me? So the Seven of Pentacles also talks about having the patience to win a greater reward, and having control, impulse control, not being rushed, right? Either by your own needs or wants or, you know, desires. Because here we have the Buddha, who was reluctant to teach his insights, but he went to teach, right, in a park where there were deers. I do feel like there's a lot of suggestions that this has to do with property, or with something like land, something connected to the land. It might even be like agricultural profits, or something connected to, you know, fruits of the earth. And here we have the suggestion also of the teaching of the Buddha, which is the four, like the noble truths, right? And dukkha is suffering, and it originated in endless craving. And removing the cravings, you remove the suffering or the evil, right? And this is also this is of course one of the great teachings of the Buddha, and this is also very much confirmed by the Hanging Man here. And the Hanging Man is a very interesting card in this deck. It's called the Trishanku, and this is a king. King Trishanku wanted to ascend to heaven while still in his mortal body. But it was interesting that of course he faced a lot of resistance, and we're not supposed to do that, right? It's like breaking the laws of physics, of and breaking a spiritual law. That is also why he's floating in space, in heaven. But he didn't give up. He really thought that he could do that. And what is interesting is because he went all the way, his body was actually transmuted, and he achieved that objective after all. So what I feel, but listen, this is very important here, is he went through the trials and tribulations. He went, because of his desire of going into heaven, he had to suffer enough to purify his physical body in a way that he achieved his objectives. And one thing that is also talked about in this card and suggested is that there's a parallel here with Odin, the All-Father of Norse mythology, and he hung himself upside down in the world tree, and this is how he achieved the secrets of the runes, and he had access to wisdom. So it's interesting because he was trying to do the impossible, but by trying to do the impossible, he achieved exactly what was possible because he put himself voluntarily through the suffering or the challenges. Yeah, suffering is a very strong word because we're talking about mythology, but it might be translated into challenges. So if you put yourself through the right challenges, you will come about the right knowledge that will make you achieve exactly what you want in the first place. So, but it feels like you're losing in the beginning. It feels like you have to give up something, and it's not so, because it will only feel as an impediment, as a resistance, because there's the lack of discipline. The suggestion is that you focus on that discipline on yourself. So focus more on your own development and on yourself, and not so much maybe on the situation, because inside yourself, with the darkness here, you will find the solution. Because if you go inside, you will see that there's nowhere to hide, let's say. There's no more darkness. And that way you won't skip the necessary steps to achieve what you want, which is actually a material thing. It's actually some sort of material justice that has to be achieved between these three women, let's say. I mean, it's very strongly, it's coming across like women very strongly to me. I know it might not be, and maybe this reading comes to you and it's still valid, even if it's not with this feminine dynamic. But to me, this is also interesting to explore, and very, very defining of this message here. I feel like there's a lot of emotional and also matrilineal stuff that's being solved, that's coming to the surface. I would say it's karmic because it's generational. Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. There's really a very deep work going on, although it has a very physical manifestation, maybe even in inheritance, real estate, property, something tangible. There's really something tangible. It might be money, it might be some sort of I don't know, some sort of treasure, let's say. Very interesting. A very interesting story. I'm sure you have all the strength to face it. This is also very important to say, that once you discover something about yourself, you will have all the, like, unlimited power, unlimited motivation, unlimited strength to face this. It's very interesting. Wow. So I really enjoyed this reading. It's so rich and deep. I think I could go on like for another half hour because the mythology is so rich and suggestive to me. So yeah, I hope you liked this reading. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And yeah, leave me a comment in the comment section below. I would love to know what you think about what I'm doing on this channel, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye!